was successful, go ahead and mark on your sheets that you have 1 healing potion and 1 soothing salve.
Well, except for Cole, because he gave his to me.
Yeah, except for Ko. But he does have a healing salve.
We use this stuff on our knuckles in the monastery all the time.
Marcus, I feel bad for you, but it's also very funny to me what's happening.
Oh yeah, I don't mind at all. This isn't even my area of expertise. It'd be different if we were fencing and I was failing. I'd be like, what the fuck?
But just especially because of the hoity-toityness of your character, it's kind of fun to see him put in such a situation.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I don't mind. It's funny.
So Crit stands back. Please take your seats again, students. For the most part, you all performed well today. I am giving you an assignment. Over the course of the next week, you are to find me some rowan berries. I should expect no less than a small bushel brought with you to class next Tuesday. Any questions?
Where do rowan berries grow?
They are in the wilderness outside of the guild. You will find them in fields and around the outskirts of forests. Small brown berries that look like grapes, but are about twice as small. Also, the quartermaster has herbalism kits available to check out with your token exchanges. So if this is a subject that interests you greatly, or if you are having difficulty, he looks at you, Marcus, it might be advised for you to spend your token on an herbalism. It was a pleasure to meet with you all today. That concludes the lesson. I look forward to seeing you again. And with that, she turns around and goes back to her chair and back to sort of scribbling and grinding up poultice and whatnot, and class is over. Across the hall, back in the other wing is where magic class happens, which is where you're headed now. There's a little bit of time between classes, not much, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm just gonna drag you all over there unless anything has anything specific they want to do. Let it be known now.
If there's any way for me to easily find something to snack on, I'm going to try to.
Yeah, as you gotta pass into the other hall anyway, and so you'll be passing by the you'll have to go past the mess hall to get there anyway. So
I assume that lunch is probably coming, but I will get something to eat, whether it's just a roll or something that's dry with something to chew on.
Yeah, I think at all times there's probably like bread and cheese and fruit and water out.
I forgot to mention it earlier, but Ko did eat breakfast with Merrick and Mert. He just eats like he's in the fucking military, so...
Right, shoulders slouched, head down, quietly eating.
Quickly.
Right, let's head over to Magic. Go ahead and filter in and take your seats as the other students join us.
What is the point of this class if one cannot use magic?
Just to learn about how you can defend against it? I don't know. To learn how cool it is if you could actually do it.
Everyone can use magic. You just gotta put your heart into it.
I'm sure you've got some magic in you, you can just tell.
Alright. As you are taking your seats and discussing the nature of magic, your magic professor floats into the room on a gliding light. I don't know if you remember the professor.
My favorite teacher.
But she is Professor Zeta Daffodil.
Hi, Miss Daffodil.
And she's a little gnome, for those of you that may not remember. And she smiles and waves at that. She goes, "Who said that? Who is that?" "Hello! Hello, students. How are we doing on our second day of class?" And she kind of drops down and sort of gingerly floats and lands on the desk in front of an open book, gives a warm smile.
Well, I already injured myself and it's not even lunch, so...
She kind of smiles and gives a little OU sort of gesture. "So how many magic users do I have in my class today?"
Ooh, I raised my hand eagerly.
Merrick raises my hand.
That person, I don't think we gave them a name. We gave, that's, what's their name? Waroval? Right there. We have Babe. And we made the elf person together. Who, does anybody remember giving them a name? If not, let's do that now.
Is it a male or female?
Oh, I have it written, it's Froley. So that's Froley. There's two, sort of nebulous students that we haven't fleshed out yet, but we'll get. Froley raises their hand as well. She does a head count. She's like, only 3 out of you. Well, no matter. Who wants to explain what magic is?
I'll try, I guess. Sometimes you feel like, bubbly inside, and then you just go,
So, fireball. You just described a fart.
It's sort of like that, I guess.
The teacher.
Maybe it's different for other people.
Not everybody can innately use magic.
False, she says, looking at you. Kind of flies down. While you may be restricted and you may not have training, anyone can use magic. This is one of the myths I hope to dispel among my time with you, students. So, since most of you are non-magic users, that's where we'll start today. Every non-magic user, line up in the center of the class for me, please. Babe raises her hands and says, Do bardic spells count? She kind of laughs and says, absolutely, my dear, of course. So she kind of raises her hand as if to say, me too, join the rank of hand raisers from earlier.
Are you separating the divine?
No, not at all. Nothing like that. We're just going to go in order, and I'm going to show you exactly what the possibilities of magic are. She starts sort of waving her hand about, closing her eyes, and sort of wind starts blowing that looks like it's only affecting her, and she points to the ground and lays down a seal, opens her eyes, pleased with herself.
Whoa, that's really cool.
She says, this is a magic fortifying ley line. She steps back. If you step into the center here, you will be free to use magics without the fear of overexerting yourself or expending any spell slots for you, those of you who can use magic when you are in the seal, and without catastrophically destroying us through wild magic. This ward will protect you and everyone who isn't you from chaos, which is what I like to think of magic as. The use of magic is the control of chaos. Now, which one of you is going to control chaos first? Step up here. So this first student. Who is this person? What are they? Who wants to help me make this student real quick?
Oh,
What are they?
They are dwarf female.
What class are they?
A rogue.
And a brief physical description.
She's got a big, beautiful beard and beautiful locks of red hair.
What's her name?
Lola.
Alright, Lola kind of steps up, eyes darting around, seeming unsure, and says, what do I do? And Professor Daffodil says, magic is all around us. And she twirls her hand, and a little spark ends up in the palm of her hand. She says, it's in the air, and she sweeps her hand, and the fire jumps into the air and turns into some little snow flurries flying across. She says, it's in the earth, and as the snow flurries fall down into the cracks of the concrete, roots grow up and start to swirl and become healthy and flower. It's in the rock itself. Fragments of the rock that the growing roots pushed aside start to glow and sort of hover in the air. And it is within you and within every one of us. The secret is trying to control it. So, what about you? Where does your strength come from, Lola? And Lola kind of looks inward. And Kelly, what would you say Lola's one sort of defining trait that makes Lola who they are?
Her independence.
She says, my independence. So the teacher says, yes, so very strong-willed, very stout, very able to get things done. And pull from that within yourself, your determination, and pick any cantrip you like. Let's see what you got. And sort of winks at her and starts to hover about. Lola sort of closes her eyes and looks inward, and after a moment of concentrating in silence, a sort of translucent hand appears hovering in front of her. And Professor Daffodil says, "Oh, mage hand, a very, very classic use of magic. Let's show us what you got." And so Lola sends the mage hand over to her desk to grab a pear out of where her knapsack and bring it over to her, and she starts eating it and kind of smiles and looks around. And Zeta says, "Very, very good. Excellent. Excellent. See? Anyone can use magic." And she gives a little golf clap for Lola.
I clap as well.
Lola turns around and takes a big juicy bite of her pear and bows to everyone. And then makes her way back to the...
Alright, next person we make sure it's a fucking cleric, because we don't have one.
We have a priest. That's who Froley is.
Oh, okay.
I can also heal.
Oh, that's right, Merrick can heal.
And you can make potions.
Hopefully the bard will also have a little bit. But are these other people... I expect they won't be coming out with us on adventures like all the other class.
Some of them won't make it to our adventures, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you might be counting on them at some point.
I'll be out in the courtyard impaled.
So Warvorel, what was it, Brandon? Warvorel? Was it Warvorel or Warvorel? I have written down Warvorel. That was the warrior's name, the other class.
Oh, I named him?
Yes. Well, it's Warvorel now, because that's what I wrote down. So Warvorel kind of doesn't seem to really give a shit, and goes up there and just kind of makes a flickering mage hand, just basic copy of what Lola was doing. Shrugs and turns around and says, "Magic really isn't my thing." Goes back to... She looks a little disappointed at that. She says, "Don't worry, we're going to make magic your thing." Now, who's next? You, monk, what is your name?
My name is Ko.
Ko? What magic would you like to try and use today? We're starting easy. Any cantrip you would like to try. What's something that interests you?
I want to create fear mixed with discipline and pain.
Well, I'm not sure that we can do that with cantrips, but we can try. So what I want you to do is figure out a cantrip you want to use.
Acid splash.
That could definitely cause fear. Alright, so she makes an adjustment with her fingers, and the glow in the sphere around where the seal is laid starts to shimmer, so now it looks like a sphere instead of just ley lines on the ground. And she steps out of it, and it's a bit of a barrier. Where is Ko gonna be pulling from tap into magic?
Well, really, he would be manipulating his ki, because that's what monks are taught, so it's like akin to magic, but it's not magic. But if anyone can use magic in this universe, it would come from there.
Okay, what is that, how do you exemplify that? Do you just, like, when you're tapping into your ki, what is that like for Ko? What does it look like?
I don't know, you don't necessarily see anything, but if he puts all of his ki into a single strike or something, you know he can shatter a rock or whatever.
Is there no tell or anything? No glowing eyes, or no breathing pattern or anything of that nature?
I would say there's a breathing technique involved, and I wouldn't necessarily, it's maybe when you're looking off into the distance and it's hot, you can see the waves distorting the image slightly, something like that.
So if you're going with the actual cantrip rules, there is a verbal and a somatic, so something with your hands component to casting.
And he doesn't know it, so I don't know how he's going to do the spell.
We're gonna say that basically she's kind of got tomes. Everybody that comes up has her little list of cantrips and what they do, and so we'll say that conferring with her, you chose Acid Splash. I'm gonna let the verbal component be sort of like throat breathing. You know what I mean? Like that sort of tribal something. It's like your breathing thing, but it gets magnified when you actually tap into this sort of magic. so it's audible. And I would assume your hand stuff is just some kind of cool martial artsy looking,
Yeah, we can go with that.
hand swirly business. So we are going to say, what attribute would we associate that with? Would that be will?
Probably intelligence.
Yeah, I guess that's the closest.
Either that or charisma, because I'm trying to cast like a sorcerer because I don't have a prepared spell in a book.
I think we're gonna say intelligence for Co. Let me look at your sheet. Yeah, I mean they're the same on your sheet, but we're gonna say it's intelligence. So make a note somewhere that your casting attribute is going to be intelligence.
I have that note under one of my spells already, but
All right. So let me take a look at this cantrip.
I just saw one called True Strike. You might want to check that one out. It's a sorcerer one.
yeah, True Strike's dope.
Looking at a list of 5th edition cantrips, are they all available?
One at a time.
One is pretty cool. Like Combat Nab, it allows you to grab a non-combat item from another person during combat if they're within melee range, if it's not well attached. Shit like that would be useful in situations.
Alright, so this looks like you just kinda do it. So, you don't really have a target or anything? What are you gonna cast this at in your little bubble there?
I guess just the barrier straight ahead of me.
Alright. You do it. You achieve this while in this thing. But first, actually, let's back up. I'm gonna need you to give me that wild magic test roll, because everyone who isn't really tapped into magic and is using it is gonna have to roll on the wild magic table when
But not in that circle, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. You're right. I'm getting confused on my own
You
roll
just
here.
get me excited.
Yeah. I just want everybody to roll on wild magic table.
You want us to die by fireball. That's really it. Just admit it.
Well, since you gave me that, I think I'm gonna have to make it give me a dexterity saving throw. Alright, you cast out, you send your acid bubble at the wall with such uncontrolled force that it splashes back on you. You are going to take half of 1d6 acid damage, so let's see what that is. So you take 1 point of acid damage. It kind of gets on your arm, and she goes, "Oh goodness me, are you okay?"
He's just watching his arm sizzle, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Very good, very good. Is this what you want to continue studying? Did you want to try another cantrip, or are you good with this?
I think I've had enough magic for today.
Well, off with you then, shoo shoo, and she kind of waves you out of the circle. Next, please.
Shoo shoo.
Well, hello there, young man.
Greetings, Professor.
And what bit of magic can I interest you in learning today,
I'd like to either learn how to summon a weapon out of thin air, or change a basic weapon into a better one in my hand.
So, what cantrips are you looking at for those?
The one, there's a conjure blade that I can just conjure a weapon out of thin air kind of thing. Or if that seems a little bit too much, there's one down here that, I forget, I'll find the name of it, but it basically, any melee weapon in my hand, if I cast the cantrip on it, it changes into a melee weapon of a different type. It doesn't give it any bonuses or anything like that, but if I pick up a club, I can use my brain to turn it into a rapier, and then I get all my rapier bonuses.
That's pretty cool. That's a cantrip?
Yep.
Just tell me what it's called, and I'll...
Yeah, I'm looking for the name of it.
Well, shit. I should have looked at the list. Eventually, I want to study and try to learn True Strike. Then
You can talk to her after everyone goes through their stuff if you really want to try something else.
I'm doing a search in the back here. Oh, weapon shift is what it's called. The melee weapon you are wielding transforms into a non-magical melee weapon for the duration.
I like that.
Lasts for 1 minute.
I don't see that one.
I'll link it.
Well, it's probably.
I will link both the cantrip list that I'm looking at and the individual one I'm talking about.
I think that's homebrew.
We're using homebrew as long as Case says it's okay.
Yeah, this is just a wiki of all the 5th edition cantrips. That's why I was asking. I mean, and that's why I'm asking kind of out of character, just, making sure. I don't want it to be overpowered. I don't mind taking something else like Combat Nab.
I'm gonna limit this to one use per day, as being a non-magic user. All the cantrips that non-magic users are gonna learn are gonna have limitations, but this, I don't want to say the word can be abused, but it's kind of awesome because like you could break a leg off a chair and suddenly use it as a rapier.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why it's like I will make you like you can even make it so that like it's only one bladed weapon into another bladed or another blunt weapon into another blunt or something. You know what I'm saying? Like however you want to make it. But the first thing that went through my mind was, well, shit. So any stick I pick up can become a fucking amazing rapier in a second. That's kind of overpowered. So I get it if this isn't a good one.
What we're gonna do here, if you're okay with it, is you will be able to wield anything with the same proficiency that you can. It might not have the same damage dice. Like if you're using a chair leg, it might just be 1d6. I'm not sure.
Well, so okay, looking at the spell, it has a somatic component and a material component. You have to have a melee weapon worth at least 1 silver piece. So that table leg would need to be considered a melee weapon worth at least 1 silver.
So it has to be a really sturdy, like oak wood table leg.
Or a specific piece of wood made into a club. A stick off the ground would not work, but like a flail wood, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool, that works. And once a day also seems reasonable too. I can't imagine I'm going to be in a situation where I need to use this multiple times throughout the day. There should be a negative that I can't use it all the time.
Well, I think just adding that material cost does make it a little bit more restricted. So, I mean, I think it'd be this, but that's me.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. All right, so where is Marcus going to be pulling his magic from? I have a hunch that it's probably charisma.
Oh, where you get that from?
I'm very likable. Yeah, charisma would make more sense, but charisma or intelligence, depending on which one, charisma is probably a little bit better. Because again, I'm very, very likable.
So what does your sort of channeling entail? What does it take for you to tap into magic? What are you doing internally, externally?
Calling on my ancestors in the name of my family and that kind of stuff.
Alright, so is there an object around you that you can demonstrate and try this cantrip with?
Professor, do you have a staff or a club anywhere nearby I can try to change?
She turns around and
Ko stands up and fucking tosses his bow staff to Marcus.
There you go.
Okay, used Ko nodded, Ko, and thanks, and then try to turn it into a rapier.
Alright, now, is its form changing, or are you just able to wield it as deftly? You know what I mean?
It transforms into the different melee weapon, and then as soon as I let it go, or 1 minute later, whichever happens first, it reverts back to its original form.
Alright, so as you catch the staff, it just perfectly transmutes into a rapier with your hand already in the grip.
Whoa, that was cool.
As soon as I catch it, I flourish it around me like a basic, a swing on both sides and then spin it around a little bit above my head.
Show off.
She claps. She's excited. As she claps, she hovers a few feet in the air. And she's like, "Oh, very nice. Good showmanship."
Thank you, Professor. And take a bow and then also hold up my sword to salute towards Cole, and thanks for letting me use his stick. And then I toss the sword back to him. Not testing out how long it lasts or anything, I'm just going to toss it back to him.
It's by the time it lands. But give me a dexterity check, Ko, just to see if you catch that, because it shifts midair while it's coming to you. Oh yeah, you caught it.
I'd say I caught it and spun it and tucked it under my arm, and it looked awesome.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Damn, we make a good team.
Yeah, you guys are good badass.
I nod at the professor, and without her telling me to leave, I just leave the circle.
Ooh, very, very good. He gives another little silent clap, and
I turn over to Babe behind me, and I'm like, he's a stud, isn't he?
she smirks at you and rolls her eyes.
Isn't Babe the female half-orc?
Yeah, that's the one that was singing that I got a crush on.
Ah, yes, that's right.
I turn back around with I'm holding my face like I'm serious when I'm looking at it, and I'm smirking when I turn around. Almost laughing at myself.
Well, now here's the kicker. I want you to practice as much as you possibly can so that you'll be able to wield these powers without my seal here. But I don't want you to do it without my permission. So I am making myself available every Sunday for practice sessions. We will be doing it out in the wild with no ley lines. We'll just be trying to control the chaos.
Merrick wants to control the chaos.
Yeah, the chaos sometimes it bites you in the ass.
She smiles and sees the eagerness of the actual magic users here in Magic Class. She said, "Don't think that I've forgotten about the actual casters here. There's much to be learned for you too. What we're gonna work on is your volume of connection and your ability to master the manipulation of chaos. And so what I'm gonna give to you guys is, with practice, the ability to earn one additional spell slot, but for a specific spell. So you're not going to have this walking out of class today, but if you guys practice and put some of your off time into it, I'll let you earn a one-use spell of your choice of an appropriate level. So she asks, what area of study are you most interested in, Merrick?
I want to go to the stars.
Oh, a lofty goal. She kind of smirks at her own joke.
I will fly above them and see what they are made of someday.
Whoa.
And what spell do you think is going to get you there?
Oh, I have no idea yet.
She kind of laughs and she's like, I barely have an idea myself. So basically, what does Marek want to study towards for that extra spell slot?
Let's look.
Yeah, you don't have to make a hard decision today or anything, but soonish. So that is everyone's homework. I want everyone to either practice these spells or research and figure out which spells, cantrips you want to attune yourselves to and learn. And I look very much forward. Whoops. I just closed the dang window. 1 second, I'm coming back.
Our DM's a DUMMY.
So basically, she's like, everyone, research, practice. I look forward to seeing your progress next week. Is there any questions that anyone has for me before I let you go for the day?
So we shouldn't practice this without you.
Please don't.
Can I practice?
But I can?
Any spell list, or just ones from the Druid school?
If you're an innate magic user, I want to limit it to your actual schools. Sort of like, because that's what you're tapped into.
Eldritch Blast is a cantrip? Yeah, I want to learn that.
That shit is powerful.
Yeah, it is. I don't really want to learn it. I would have been a warlock.
It keeps getting better and better as you go. That's one of the recommendations for sorcerer multi-class is one level of warlock, just so you get Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
And you can do meta magic with it or you can do spell sniper, add another 60 feet of range. You can twin it and hit 2 people at once with one casting. All kinds of cool shit.
She kind of looks around. She says, well, if there is to be nothing else, then class dismissed. Please contact me through Facebook or the web portal if you wish to practice outside of hours. I can see what's available. I am here to work with you and for you, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Class dismissed. She starts to float off back behind her desk.
Best class ever.
What is lunch?
Yeah, it's lunchtime now. You have an hour for lunch.
I'm not even hungry.
I am.
I bet.
So what's everybody gonna do for their lunch break?
I'm going to take my book, which I took from the library, entitled Our Dearest Leader, an interview with Vladiska Drekov. I'm going to go to the mess hall and I'm going to eat lunch and read my book. I will learn all about Vladiska and her royal family and all that stuff while I'm eating.
Sounds good to me. What about the rest of you?
I'm gonna grab a small snack and then I'm gonna wander around in the courtyard.
Trying to figure out what spell I want to focus on.
Where are you doing that at?
Library.
Cole grabs Chow, eats very fast, goes to library, meditates, enters trance, concentrates on True Strike.